Hey yogis, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to My Yoga Time. Today's yoga snack is focusing primarily on our hips and our hamstrings. So it's a fantastic class to do on those days when you're sitting for long periods of time. So I do have 2 blocks for this practice. And when you're ready, we're going to begin in our child's pose. But of course, if you experience any discomfort in your knees and hips in child's pose, you can always elevate those hips and take puppy pose instead. So puppy pose would keep the bottom nice and high. Child's pose will connect those big toes. Take the knees nice and wide so we're getting a little more sensation in the hips. And we can extend those arms in front. So if your forehead doesn't meet the mat with ease, take a hold of one of your blocks and place that underneath, or you could always make a pillow with your hands. As always in my classes, I encourage you to place the very tip of your tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth, and try to keep the tongue in this position for the entire class. So you should feel a little space between the top and bottom teeth, and a little tone in the back of your throat. And I always like to encourage you to set your intention for your practice. Just the one word if you can. Something that you're wanting to invite into your body, your mind, your day. And let's take 3 more breaths here. Breathing into the lower back and the hips. Find a little pause before you exhale. Inhaling, lifting up. Let's come to all fours. If you haven't done so already, just placing your blocks at the top of the mat there. And then raising your right leg behind you. Take that right leg over to the left, toes are tucking under, and looking over your shoulder. Now if you'd like a little more of a side bend here, cross that right arm over the left as well. So be sure to really press into the heel and the outer hip. And let's release, come back to center. We'll change sides straight away. Option to reach that left arm out in front or cross it over the right. And then come back to center. Well done, yogis. Let's take a hold of our blocks now. So blocks on the flat side, and make sure the edge of the block is meeting the edge of the mat. Middle fingers are parallel to one another, pointing straight ahead. Heels of the palms are right on the edges of the blocks. Let's curl the toes under. Inhale and exhale to round. With that rounded spine, we'll lift up and back into your downward facing dog. Center your left foot and raise the right leg. Option to lift the hip and bend the knee. So you're pointing the knee up towards the ceiling and the foot is hanging close towards the bottom. If you're feeling a little unstable with those blocks, try and squeeze the heels of the palms in towards one another. And let's straighten the legs, square the hips. We're going to step that foot through in between the hands. While you're here, just take your blocks now to the highest height. So hands underneath the shoulders. So in this lunge, I want you to try and drag the feet towards one another, round the back, and look down towards your belly button. Then as you inhale, straighten the legs, lift the chin, looking forward, and maybe even lifting those toes or even the whole foot off the mat, just resting on the heel. Well done. Lower into your lunge, drag the feet towards one another, round the back. And then straightening, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one. Then ground that right foot down and just turn your left toes out a little for warrior two legs. Windmill those arms up. So here your right heel should be intercepting the arch on your left foot. We're opening out nice and wide through that right knee. Inhale, lift up into a high lunge, so left heel is lifting up, and then lower right hand down, maybe even reaching for that left thigh, little side bend here. Press into both feet and inhale, and exhale. Let's return those hands down to the block. So from here, you can step your back foot in just a little closer. Walk your hands forward either with or without your blocks as you lift that left leg up for warrior three. So round the outer hip down and tuck the tailbone under. This is going to help create a bandha, a lock around those hips and lower back, which is a great way to help improve our mobility with stability. We want to strengthen and lengthen at the same time. If you're feeling stable, you can always take one hand to the heart or maybe both hands. And let's lift all the way up strong in that right leg. Lift up that left knee. And either lower left foot to the mat for chair pose or take the left ankle to the right knee for your one-legged chair. Breathing into the outer left hip now. Well done, let's release. Inhale and exhale, forward fold. Bring those blocks back over. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling to bow. You can take the blocks to the lowest height, step it back, downward facing dog. Center your right foot, raise the left leg. Lift up the hip, bend the knee, look under your armpit. Straightening the leg, square the hips, step it through for your lunge. Take those blocks a little higher. Sink the hips and try and squeeze the feet towards one another, rounding out the back. And then inhale, straightening the legs, lifting the heart and maybe the ball of the left foot. Exhale and lunge. Inhale. Well done, yogis. Prepare for warrior two now. Spin those right toes out a little, windmill the arms up, pressing into both feet. High lunge. Left hand down, reach over with those right fingertips. And lower both hands down to the blocks. Stepping that back foot in a little if you need to. Moving those hands forward underneath the shoulders with the blocks. Or bring the hands to Anjali Mudra. Prayer at the heart center. Well done. Lifting up, bring this knee with you. An option to take your one-legged chair or both feet to the floor, two-legged chair. And let's release. So having those feet hip width apart, we'll inhale, arms up. Exhale to fold. Blocks are there if you need them. So you can have your hands on the blocks, fingertips in line with the toes. Take the blocks to your preferred height. Or pistol grip, middle finger and pointer fingers loop around the big toes. Elbows bend out to the side. Feel here as though you're gently pressing the feet away from one another. Tailbone lifts, shoulders lift up towards those hips. Breathe into the back side of the body. And if there's no concerns with knees or hips to come into a squat, we'll take toes out, heels in, bend in those knees as you lower the hips down. If you need to lighten the squat, you can always place a block underneath your bottom. If you can, take those hands into prayer, push elbows into the knees, knees into the elbows. You might even like to take a little neck stretch here, dropping the ears towards the shoulders. And then with control, let's take our left hand behind you, come to take a seat. Reach for one block, take it in between those thighs. Let's pick up the feet for your boat pose. So it's always lovely to stretch out the hips and hamstrings if you're carrying a lot of tension, but it's really important that we strengthen at the same time. We want to strengthen and lengthen the muscles, so we've always got stability and mobility. Too much mobility without stability is problematic. Let's squeeze in on the block, one more breath. And then we're going to lower heels down, toes up. Try and drag the heels back towards your bottom. Twist. Hook the left arm to the outside of the right knee. And gently press left palm down and away. It's a nice twist here in the middle part of the spine. Keep gently dragging those heels back towards the bottom. Let's return to the front. Find your boat pose once again. And twisting other side. And let's return to the front, remove your block. So coming into a seated position now, if those hips are quite tight, do sit yourself up on the block, elevate the hips. Crossing right leg in front of the left leg and try to cross at the calves so those feet are underneath your knees. Flexing the feet and pushing the feet down into the mat. So we're sending the feet opposite direction and then pressing them down. Let's lean over to the left. Cactus arm with your right arm and just gently move in and out, just a little. And then come back to center. We're about to fold forward. You can either keep the legs as they are, or if it's available for you, stack right foot on top of the left. Only folding forward if you can do so with ease, otherwise staying upright and maintain that action. Feet are flexing, pressing down, left foot goes right, right foot goes left. Otherwise, as you fold forward, stay up on those fingertips and allow the back to round. You might even like a little side bend over to the left. And then coming back to center. Well done, yogis. Let's change the cross of the legs. Take a quick swish if you need to. Left leg in front of the right, feet underneath the knees. Flexing those feet, cactus arm with the left hand. And let's just gently pulse in and out over to the right side. And coming all the way up, either keeping the legs in that position or if you can, left foot on top of the right knee. Folding forward, rounding the back. Option to walk the hands over to the right for a little side bend. And coming back to center, well done. Feel free to switch those knees once again from side to side. Well, thanks yogis for practicing with me today. I hope that you enjoyed that class. Feel free to make class requests in the comments below if there's a particular part of the body or a particular posture that you're wanting to work on. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel, not just my channel, but any teacher that you watch on a regular basis. It's the best way to support free yoga on YouTube. Wishing you a lovely day.